Okay, so I wasn't gonna do this video. I wasn't gonna talk about this movie because I was kind of over it. But yeah, she's not. So she wanted to talk about Burning Sands. I saw a few comments asking me my opinions on Burning Sands. So I guess we're just gonna talk about that. One of the biggest problems that I had with this movie was the fact that I don't feel like they actually like learned anything. They went through all this stuff. They spit in your face. You wash these cars. You had to run a train on this girl. For what? Like, you get to the end of the movie and he like, what's your name again?
What?
Girl, you didn't wait. Did you see that? Yeah. They were at the car whenever he went to the principal and he was like, you know, you want to be my organization, say the creed or whatever, sing a song, whatever he said. And then they all met up at the car and he was like, what's your name again? He kept calling him, what he said? What was his name? Like Glasses or something like that? Whatever his name was.
So
he did not know
how long
his
was
real
it?
name.
I mean, I watched the movie, but like I'm sitting here, the whole, I guess coming from, again, an old school person's perspective, and I'm not gonna like get too and yeah, I'm gonna try to keep it as clean as I can. Like looking at me, I was just watching it like it was a joke to me. Like, and I think it's a generational thing. So when I watched it, I did see a lot of people have like commentary. Some people said it was good. Some people was like, oh, it's kind of like reality. Some people blah, blah, blah. And some people were in complete outrage. And so when I went and looked at it, I was just expecting the absolute worst. And I was like, so what part of this is alarming? Like,
I think it was alarming because it was the first time that we had ever seen it like that, I guess, drastic. Like when you had School Days. I mean, she slept with old boy, but it wasn't nothing like.
And there was actually another movie that I saw like my freshman year in college. I think it was called Step, and it was like low budget or whatever. And they had it was like this dude.
Was it on a BT movie?
I don't know, but it was like old school. Looked like maybe late 2000 or mid 2000 or early 2000, 99 or something like that. But like somebody died, and so they had to like one of the Greek people died, so they were trying to do like a That's the name.
His name is Square.
All the way.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had to find it. It was bothering me.
So yeah, they basically had like a step show to do a fundraiser or something for him, and so there were in the midst of doing the step show, there were like lines and stuff like that. So I saw that my freshman year, and then I remember Stomp? Yeah, Stomp the Yard. So I remember when I first like got my organization, I was watching that shit like every day, and then midway through I was like, man, this shit ain't real. Like, I just got mad and stopped watching and got pissed off, and to this day I'll be like.
See, but even in Stomp the Yard, we really didn't see the process. All we did was whenever he went online, we saw him go into somebody's door, they pulled him in. And then you saw him leave. But you tried to sit down, he like
so you assumed what you thought was going on. And so this part is like you actually being in the room and seeing the things that you didn't see as stuff. Yeah.
Pretty much. And it was just like...
I think, so of course everybody knows that these organizations are non-hazing organizations, and sometimes you have to do air quotes on that, and that's just being 100% real. But the part that I think I just really don't care for, like if you're gonna, like the films are art, so if you're gonna do something like that, I think the way that you do the movie is the way that if somebody was to do a process, it has to serve a purpose, right? So if there's got to be, what am I supposed to take away from this? Because from my perspective, when I looked at it, all I saw was dudes getting their ass whooped.
Yeah.
Every day.
Right.
Washing cars, getting just dumb shit. And then I don't even know what happened, because at the end, like the last 15 minutes was them sitting like this.
Well, his friend died.
What, do you know that?
Yeah, it says it in the movie. So
Where?
it's very, very silent, but you can hear the doctor in the background, and she's saying, you know, call this in, he's dead.
No?
Yeah.
So it's like,
so
I didn't hear a flat line.
Like, I didn't hear a flat line either. They was sitting in the chair, he just called his daddy, like...
And then he called his dad right after that.
Yeah, okay, I didn't hear that.
So I like, okay, so now I know
but
that
because
still
afterwards... Like, did y'all cross? Like,
yeah,
what,
like,
what and then what other
information
information did you learn? Because they repeatedly said like that one line of info, and he kept repeating it, and I'm just like, well.
Yeah.
And apparently this encouraged the lead actor Zurich or whatever his name is to actually join an NPHC ARG. So
in real life.
So
I think like also it's not accurate. Like there's so much more to Greek life than just all this fighting. Even when you're online, you have like we practice like running meetings and stuff like that too. So it was like so much more that they could have shown that they chose not to.
And again, I go back to the generational thing. Stomp the Yard is not an accurate, it's not an accurate depiction, I would say, of what Greek life is, because to me it's very stereotypical. It's like the, what is it? It's like the drum line of Greek life. And I think every generation needs that film. So like people before me had School Days. And then, like I said, the stepping thing, that wasn't like a big picture, so nobody even knows about it. So Stomp the Yard was more for me and maybe like y'all who are a little bit younger. And so then we fast forward 10 years later, there's this generation of people who might be interested in like, so how do you reference it if you're not on a college campus yet? If you're like in high school or whatever, this is what they're gonna go to look at, to like reference. What is that? What, and this is the like, it was the most horrible depiction or an example of what you would want to display Greek life, because I guess just me going back to over doing a film review, it didn't leave you with any, there's no answers. You don't know if they crossed. So you didn't get to see a probate. You didn't get to see what happens to them after. At least Stomp the Yard, we got to see the different stages that people go through after they cross, because that part is actually reality, having to figure out grades.
No, okay, so Stomp the Yard, I feel like it was a good, respectful movie regarding Greek life, because it was like you saw the whole process. He didn't know anything about Greek life at first. His brother died, he went to school, and he was like, this was his dream, this wasn't my dream. And then he got approached by,
and he wasn't even interested.
Right, wasn't interested, got approached by the wrong org, then went to the other org, and he actually left like,
you got what you were supposed to get out of the experience.
Right. He left with appreciation for his organization, dedication. He worked, you know, all this. It was stuff.
Like, that movie is so much more all around than watching young dudes like basically run train on a feet. Like, I think it was just so much content that was so negative that it's like there was no balance, because I'm trying to figure out the good part of it. Like, what is the thing that we took away that was the positive? Stomp the Yard, he came from like inner city, whatever, went to school, really didn't want to. He joined and blah, blah, blah down the road, left with something. We got something from that. Hell, even with Drumline, we got something from that. What I watched, I don't even know how long the movie is, before an hour and plus minutes, we saw some dudes run train on a female, which I'd like to say it's not reality, but I know that it probably does happen. We saw them get beat and eat things that they didn't need to be eaten, and just doing dumb ignorant shit. And I think the one thing, I hate to curse like that, but one thing that if anybody ever experienced a process or however people do things in 2017, that you're supposed to get broken down to be built back up. And all we saw was the breakdown. We don't know what happened.
Not because just built up by yourself. You know what I mean?
But the profile as well.
At the end. That was literally, we saw this dude. I thought the other one was gonna die at first though. The one that had the real problems, the main character.
Yeah, that was her.
So who went to the hospital? See, that's how you know I checked out.
So the one that was pretty much always like, we gotta do
like, we not brothers. Like, I don't know y'all.
He was doing that, but also like in the beginning when they dropped the first dude from the line, like in the first whatever minutes, he was like, y'all, we gotta leave him or whatever. He was always just like, I'm gonna join.
Yeah, so like, I'm just like, being the individual. Yeah. And so it's like, me watching it and just knowing the things that I've experienced personally, I could see bits and pieces, and then I was waiting on that aspect to be built upon, and then it didn't. So it was like I'm in it for self. And if you're with people, like, regardless of that situation, when you join an organization, understand that it's not even you no more. It's not your line. It's not your chapter. It's bigger than all of you. Correct? So that means that we're all gonna be in it together. So I'm waiting on them to talk about like being an individual and what that means when you call yourself trying to be in a brotherhood. But that was it. Like, I kept saying like, this dude is such an individual. I just kept repeating that in my head, but nobody ever said anything. It was never elaborated on. So then there's the one that there's always one that wants to try to pull everybody together and try to, keep things and do stuff the right way, which seemed to be like the dude with the glasses. And even the main characters to a certain extent or whatever, but that didn't get expounded upon. So it's like we watched however long them get their ass whooped, eat dog food, get spit on, spend their money on these grown ass men, and then the movie went off. Yeah. Like, that was the extent of it. So it's like, kudos to the brother for whoever wrote it and produced it and did all that stuff. Like, congratulations, because you put a whole film out. But in my personal opinion, like, I'm not sure what to take. Yeah, that's what everybody, I'm sure it is. Like, that's what everyone says. And if we were supposed to take something away from it, I missed the whole thing. Yeah. I missed it all.
I mean, It was an alright movie overall. Like, I'm just thinking about it, like, what I was
saying, point of view from
like,
just
it was
movie
decent,
watching.
but I mean, it wasn't accurate. So.
It wasn't terrible production. It wasn't bad acting. But like when you put stuff like that out, people are gonna come to it because Black Greek movies are few and far in between. Again, we only named 2: School Days and Stomp the Yard. So when stuff like this comes out, clearly these like people need stuff like that and they want to know. So people are gonna come watch. And when they do, this is the information they get. And I think it's terribly misleading for, like I said, everybody has something to reference. People a little bit older than me had School Days. I had School Days / Stomp the Yard. So now these kids, this generation and younger has this. I'll be damned if I want to show somebody this and be like, this is what you have to look forward to, or can kind of give you an idea, because that was far from anything that I would want somebody to say. If you want thinking about joining a Greek organization, give this a look, because this will give you some great insight. Like, I'd rather you just go on Google and and try to figure your life out. Like, don't use that as a point of reference for anything. No disrespect to the brother who wrote it and produced it, but I'm sorry, kid. Like,
yeah, I think all it did was really open up like the platform for people who know
and play into the stereotypes.
Yeah, it gave them room to talk about stuff that they know nothing about. Like, you feel like you got a PhD in Greek life now because you didn't watch Burning. I'm sorry.
Like, that's not even the one. That's not even the one. And I think the sucky part about it playing into the stereotypes is what y'all don't understand is NPHC are traditionally Black Greek lettered organizations. And so our organizations are no different than how society is in real life. So please understand that if you're at a campus, a lot of these organizations are not wanted at these campuses. If you ever look around and see the organizations that have Greek houses and Greek rows and this and that, it doesn't really consist of NPHC organizations. And so that only further plays into the stereotype, and especially considering that the individual who wrote and produced it is Greek. So is you playing into all the negative stuff that everybody always says, instead of at least give us some kind of positive to where you can flip it around. Like, you did everybody a complete disservice, and you got like other folks having to do damage control with young folks, trying to tell them no, like, it's really like this, it's really like that, as compared to them having to use this is their guide to trying to figure out if they would want to join a Greek organization. Sorry, brother, that was a fail. I can't. I want to give you points, but I can't.
There's no points to be given.
No.
There was, y'all didn't get it.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad acting. But that's literally.
Like, I literally, like, after that, I went to go see the lead character guy, what else he played in. Mm-hmm. So I think he did a really good job, especially, like, you know, the quotes by Frederick Douglass. Like, I thought that was neatly tucked into the movie. I did learn something from the movie, though, you know, to have a better appreciation for my parents, because in the end, like, his dad didn't go through the whole process. Now he knows why. Or, and it made him want to call his dad, like, the whole movie, your dad was calling you, like, bruh, pick up the phone. But he never did. So in the end, when he did, I was like, you understand a little bit more about why your dad didn't go through with it, or, you know.
That went over my head during the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I saw something about him, like, I guess having kind of a turbulent or weird relationship, or maybe just a lack of respect in that regard for his dad, because it's like, you didn't even finish. Yeah. But it's like, I mean, and hell, technically, brother, from the list of things, you ain't either. And that's gonna be shut down depending on how stuff goes, because that's like some serious stuff. You go to the hospital, that's it. Like, y'all done. Not no suspension, like, you're done. And so, and again, that's another part that they don't talk about, because when these organizations are non-hazing organizations, but there are individuals who go against the grain, and we saw what happened to Alicia Renee when she did it with August Alsina. When you do that, when you go against the grain, sometimes you get in trouble, and it's not just the people who are pledging you that get in trouble. You was in the room too, so you get your letter snatched too, and sometimes that means your whole chapter is wiped. So the history of whatever your charter members did to get your organization at your campus, you've ruined that, because y'all don't know how to act, and you have, like, your focus is not what it needs to be on, and it's clearly not service and scholarship, because that was more important than the sustaining your chapter. So, like, they could have at least gone into that, like, tell us what happens when you get in trouble for hazing. Like, give me something. Give me something. It's just it was a bunch of unanswered questions that I feel this generation needs, based off some of the questions people ask you. they need to, you need to give them some info to back that up. And yeah, if you, I would say go watch Stomp the Yard, and like that probably is maybe the better depiction of what you might expect, like overall, maybe kind of like in a Greek life setting, as opposed to that shit was terrible. Now that I'm really thinking, I'm like, yeah, that wasn't good.
Yeah, no. Well, any last comments?
Sorry for dragging your movie guy.
I mean, sorry, but not sorry. Like you knew the job was dangerous before you took it. You could have did way.
And however long, y'all should have went back to the damn storyboard and treatments and
don't
everything
expect,
else.
like just black arts, don't expect no one to be quiet about it. Like if you make a movie like that, just know that, not that they're gonna come for you, just know that people are gonna speak out against it. So that shouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah. I'll never watch it again. Now, Stomp the Yard.
I actually watched it twice though.
It came on when I was
I only watched it once.
I watched it the first time because like I had to process it. I mean, I watched it like you can watch something but like not really see it.
Mm-hmm.
That happened the first time, so I watched it again. I knew to skip past that spit scene. Got a weak stomach. But I was just like,
yeah, that was like a one stop for me.
Really, I had no interest in watching it at all. My deuce, she called me and was like, "Did you watch that stuff? You need to watch that stuff." So I watched that stuff, and I was like, "Okay." Like,
watch that stuff.
Yeah,
it was a movie. It was nice, but that
was
was
a
it.
movie.
It's a movie. That's about it.
So, yeah, there's nothing else that I can say about it. It's okay. All right.
We out of this thing.
Bye, y'all.